Hey everyone, welcome back to 4J Music. Today I want to talk a little bit about gear, and this is something that I'm very hesitant to talk to you about because I don't ever want to come across as someone that's telling you that you have to have certain gear in order to sound good, or even worse, that you have to have certain gear in order for the presence of God to come down in the middle of your worship service, right? And that's something that I think a lot of people, they're like, well, that's why we didn't sound good today. That's why maybe the service fell a little bit flat. Is because we didn't have this type of keyboard or this pedal or whatever. And so that's something I don't want you to ever hear from me or think that you're hearing from me. There's no substitute for practice, consecration, for those things that kind of go hand in hand. The Lord's seen you put the time in to be able to be prepared for worship, but also just bathing the worship service in prayer. So I remember a long time ago, my mom, when I was serving in worship and I was playing and I was in my teens, she would tell me, like, I can tell y'all prayed today, I can tell y'all didn't pray today. And so that was something that she sensed, just in her spiritual maturity. She was able to tell me, hey, y'all actually, spend some time seeking the Lord before service. I can tell, and so anyway, I just want to make sure that I put that disclaimer out there. That during that time of my life, I was barely learning how to play the keyboard. And the keyboard that was like the thing back then was the Korg Trinity, if you can believe it. And then eventually the Korg Triton kind of came out, and they were both very, very prominent during that time. What I thought is that we had to have a Korg Trinity in order to exist, musically. And I went to a lot of churches to visit for different, conferences and events and everything. And they had a Korg Trinity and they had a Korg Triton. And man, I was like, that's why, they sound great, because they have this keyboard. In my very young musical mind, I didn't realize that the Korg Trinity, the Korg Triton, both of those were workstations, that those were keyboards that were designed to do way more than you will ever, need to do in a typical stage setting at a worship service. Or we really should have been fine with what we had and just used it, or maybe upgraded to a more, a modern keyboard, stage piano, and would have been fine. Nowadays, I guess the Korg Trinity equivalent is the Nord. They're really, really fantastic machines, and they're really, really fun to play. And one of the things I want to tell you today is you can actually save money on your budget, your church budget, which I know there's churches out there that are struggling to keep the lights on, right? And so you don't need to go buy, a $4,000 keyboard. I can't justify that for you when a stage piano can do a lot of the same things that you're doing, okay? I'm playing on my mother-in-law's Yamaha. I think it's a P250. So it's very, very basic in what it can do. It has some pad sounds, and you can do some layering and things like that. But one of the reasons that she likes it is because it has built-in speakers. And so I know that's not necessarily something that, many people look for in a stage piano for a church. But some of the things that I wish it had would be some of the effects, like the delay. And so one of the ways that you can make a keyboard like this, that's an older keyboard, have some of the more modern features, is to supplement it with other things. Okay, so this is a way that you can save a ton of money and still have some of those features. Okay, I've actually run a Boss DD7 delay out of the keyboard. Obviously you have to have the keyboard signal going into this, and then this going into your stake or your sound board, and also having the tap tempo switch externally there as well. You can actually create some really neat sounds and make a keyboard like this sound like it's a lot more modern, and save yourself a lot of money. Okay, so I'm going to show you what that sounds like here in a second. And again, I'm just using a straight up piano sound, and with this keyboard right here, I would be very happy playing this piano at church. It has a really good feel, has a really good piano sound, and if I could even add the delay externally, I could save a lot of money and not have to try to justify buying a $4,000 keyboard or whatever. And there are other keyboards, don't get me wrong, that have the delay built into it, but you're still spending money where you have something that works. And so when you have something that's already fulfilling that function, rather than to try to replace it completely, there's ways that you can supplement that. All right, I've got my DD7 hooked up. I'm running it out of the phones into a pair of computer speakers. So it's not the best sound quality, but you'll get the gist of it. I'm going to play that little piano break that's in the middle of What a Beautiful Name. I'm in the key of C, and I'm going to run a metronome. Here's what it sounds like, just straight up piano. Okay, not bad. We can add some delay to that and use the, and there's a lot of different delays. If you find a pedal like the DD7, you can use whatever setting, but the one that I think might sound the best for this one is just like an eighth note repeater, or whatever, an eighth note type delay. You can play around with it and find one that sounds the best and it's not too overbearing. So here's the same thing, and 1, 2, 3, and. Cool. In full disclosure, I actually turned it up quite a bit. Like the feedback of the delay, I probably wouldn't have it that high so that it could taper each repetition, each note that's repeated gets a little softer. I had it kind of high. My wife, who previews all my videos, the first time I recorded this, she was like, I can't hear the delay. And it's supposed to be really subtle, right? And so it just kind of tapered so fast that she was not able to hear it. So I went ahead and kept it up kind of high, but I would be really careful about not doing that in a service, because it's supposed to be just a light effect, very subtle, and really just something to kind of fill in all the spaces between, the actual attack on the downbeats. Obviously, there are some things that you can do with MIDI and getting some different software or whatever. I'm not going to dive into that. That's a whole realm of ways that you can get different sounds into and out of your keyboard, even if it's an older keyboard that has the compatibility to do that. But this is just talking, a delay pedal. You can go buy one of those delay pedals, or something comparable to that, and spend maybe $100 or $150, whatever, and get the little tap tempo thing too, so you're able to make sure that your delay is in time with what you're doing. But yeah, play around with that, and again, just be careful not to overdo it, because it can kind of get a little bit old. Anyway, I hope this helps you, and again, just really focus on playing clean, playing in time, and also make sure that you're preparing, and the gift that God has given you, you're using that in a way to honor the Lord, and you're doing that by preparing musically and spiritually, and that's going to be way more important than any gadget, any keyboard, any type of instrument that you go buy. All right, so hope this helps. Blessings, and you guys take care. All right, bye bye.